So there was an article that was getting into how Lindsey Graham, knowing how Trump could and would sell something about defending Ukraine, turns out Lindsey Graham is the source of the make-believe numbers on rare earths in Western Ukraine, which there was a bunch of people who, from a wide variety of kind of political backgrounds, who was contesting these numbers. And it was actually kind of fascinating, and I noted it. I was like, no, these people they're too sure about this. And he even got, some of these people even got into, think about it. This would be something that would have been easier to obtain during the Cold War period. So why isn't that an area that rare earths were being extracted from? And I was like, very good point. That's precisely not what they do there. They grow food. The East is where there would be anything that would have higher rare earths, and that's the thing, is it was like, that was the whole point, is that's what was up, is that actually Russia already pretty much owned the territory that could be industrially developed. Like, that's where the Russian-speaking population ended up fleeing to after the color revolution junta that put the present government into power. So it turns out it was Graham where the numbers for the rare earths came from. And I'm using this to illustrate this about Graham and McCain. Some of us traced down where this was coming from over and over and over again. And it was that there's this, you could even find the articles still all there on Wikipedia. You see in a article about Lindsey Graham, you see him and John McCain at this place, which is, I think, the International Institute for Strategic Studies. I want to say that that's when people refer to Chatham House, that's like what they're referring to. And this is sort of this, it seems to have something to do with, especially wide-scale use of air support for things, or maybe almost primarily a lot of air support. And yeah, because McCain and Graham are both Air Force guys, and so the next thing I wanted to, so that was one of the deals with them from kind of the start, is that they had this really weird relationship that they kind of like to disclose, but they also clearly weren't really that into disclosing. Well, when everything went down with the Arab Spring, when Syria fell and all that, this is where all of a sudden, if you look back over it, all of a sudden, John McCain, Lindsey Graham, Kerry, Obama, and Clinton, they're all getting along really well. They're all having lots of bipartisan agreement on how bad Syria is, and how good the Arab Spring is, and So this is why I wanted to point this out, is they're in on it. And there's going to be more coming out that's going to start showing this, and something's changing with Ukraine. This corruption thing going on with Ukraine, that something's changed. Some kind of power layout, something's changed. Okay, now to something I was thinking about that. Oh, well, and then, boy, oh boy, looks like reform's going to make it. But boy, oh boy, Nigel, this is going to be tough, because you're going to have to kick out a lot of people. You're going to have to. It's going to have to happen. There's going to have to be an overhaul of law enforcement countrywide. There's going to have to be honesty and frankness, because, it's just, everyone gets it now. People know what the hadiths and the sunnah and the seerah say. They know, no, this is never going to end. They're always going to be violent. You have to control the numbers of these kinds of people who come in. Everybody's got to start understanding where they're going to fit into British society. And yeah, and that's it. And because they can go to a place they prefer. They could go to a place they prefer. Before I got all heated about it, I was like, no, this isn't positive energy enough and creativity enough. So on to the positive and creative. So now, the Superman's, what's going on with Superman, and then other things that I'm finding here and there with looking for AI, things that are AI that it's like, that's impressive. Now it's just, no, there's no way around this. The future is somebody who programs their kind of AI characters, figures out how to come up with this character that their program produces it consistently, pretty much the same way all the time, and that there is a unique, maybe it's a style of art that's going to be used, especially this idea of a person who figures out how to get the computer to read their style of artwork, which is scary, but I mean, that's the future. That's going to be the future of all animation, acting, stuff like that. Really, what this could bring back is the live performance world. The live performance world can come back because there will be people who don't want to see AI productions, and there's going to just be so much of it, whether it's good or it's bad. There's going to be a lot of it, but also, honestly, and it's because it'll be a sign of that you can go and do something like that, and that you would know where it is. That's a very educated thing to the live performance art, that artisans are expensive. AI is changing the concept of the artisan in a way that the artisan's not going away. They're gonna change how they run their hustle and their game. And it's going to, because there's just going to be too much AI stuff that it's just like, oh, this is AI, this is AI too, and it'll and there'll be levels of quality. There'll even be the young will come up with words for like how bad or how good an AI thing is done. That's what I'm kind of waiting for, is when young people come up with the AI, the term for how shitty something that AI is or not. And what is that word? And, because it's coming. People always figure things like this out, So, but there's not a way around this. And somebody who could have characters, they could come up with a game that the characters are in. So they have stories, they're constantly coming up with mods for it. This is actually very much the kind of area that I see a thing like The Sims exploding as you get higher and higher quality AI, just higher and higher levels of algorithmic stuff. The part that I've been kind of curious about is the AI NPC villain concept of like a world, like WoW or EVE Online or something like that. So because, video games will have like stupid enemies, and they have to have an AI, that's what everybody calls it. Like the idea of like, what if you had in this computer game this, rather smart levels of AI, you really had to outthink or outplan or outstrategize the AI, and that, it couldn't be OP. It would have to have certain limitations and things. I mean, yeah, of course, but, just an idea. Because it has to come. Somebody has to do this. This has to fascinate somebody else. What if you had an AI playing Palpatine? Or what if you are the bad guys and you're trying to outwit the AI police and not be discovered by them? See, that would be cyberpunk, actually. Cyberpunk would be that you're trying not, that would be like, there we go. I mean, and there's one, see, Cyberpunk 2077 gives me a lot of ways that I could kind of think this through, really. Because it's that type of game already in existence. But, yeah, we'll see. I suppose we'll see, inevitably. All right. Well, it looks like we might avoid World War because Zelensky is losing confidence with the entire international community overnight over this corruption board. I mean, like, that happened. This is really interesting how quick that happened. I'm really like, wowie zowie. That happened fast. So, yeah. We'll see how that goes. All right, talk to you later.